Spongebob Squarepants has introduced hundreds of characters over the last 25 years, but some of the most iconic ones didn't just fade away, they vanished. No farewell episode, no final moment, just gone. And the reasons behind their disappearances are way stranger, sadder, and more complicated than most fans ever realized. Today we're diving deep into why these SpongeBob characters suddenly disappeared, and what really happened to them behind the scenes. Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy, a retirement no one wanted. To start, we have to talk about two of SpongeBob's greatest heroes, Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy, the iconic superhero duo who shaped early SpongeBob's comedy style. Their last major appearance was in the 2012 episode Super Evil Aquatic Villain Team Up is Go, a wild adventure featuring Plankton, teaming up with Man Ray, and ultimately spiraling into chaos. But that episode became more than just another goofy story. It was the final time Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy appeared with newly recorded lines, and the reason is heartbreaking. Shortly after the episode aired, Ernest Borgnine, the voice of Mermaid Man, passed away in 2012. Years later, Tim Conway, who played Barnacle Boy, passed away as well in 2019. Without their voices, Nickelodeon made a decision that fans still debate. They would not recast the characters. Instead, Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy were quietly retired, out of respect for the actors who brought them to life. They made one last cameo in Patrick Man, but their lines were simply recycled from past episodes. A tribute, not a return. Since then, the duo has appeared only in background references, toys, posters, decorations, never speaking, never fully present. It's a bittersweet ending for two characters who defined SpongeBob's superhero parody era. Their legacy remains, but their voices were silenced permanently. Man Ray, a villain with no heroes. Left when Ray was one of SpongeBob's most entertaining bad guys. From the hilarious wallet scene to his failed supervillain alliances, he was a fan favorite. But every time he appeared, it was tied to Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy. Without them, his stories stopped making sense. His final real role was also in Super Evil Aquatic Villain Team Up is Go. After that, he faded away completely. He may show up as a background image here and there, but his purpose was tied to the superhero world. And that world essentially ended. He didn't disappear because he wasn't popular. He disappeared because the framework that made him important disappeared first. Flats the Flounder, the bully who never came back. Some characters vanish because their story is complete, and that's exactly what happened with Flats the Flounder. Appearing in the season 3 episode The Bully, Flats is the new student at boating school with one goal: kick SpongeBob's butt. That's it. That's the entire character, and it works brilliantly for a self-contained comedic plot. Flats stalks SpongeBob across Bikini Bottom, chasing him everywhere, at home, at work, even in his dreams. And when he finally punches SpongeBob repeatedly, it does nothing. Because SpongeBob is a sponge. The joke lands perfectly. The tension resolves, the character arc closes, and that's why Flats never returned. He didn't need to. Writers used him exactly once, executed the joke flawlessly, and moved on. He appears in background shots in later seasons, but never speaks again. He didn't disappear because he failed. He disappeared because his story succeeded too perfectly to continue. The Chocolate Lady, one word, eternal fame. If Flats was built for one joke, the Chocolate Lady was built for one scream. Appearing only in Chocolate with Nuts, she's the woman who opens her door and shrieks chocolate, repeatedly at SpongeBob and Patrick. No explanation, no backstory, just raw, chaotic energy. It was unforgettable. Her scene became one of the most quoted and memed moments in SpongeBob history. And because her entire identity was the scream, bringing her back again would have diluted the joke. So she vanished, preserved perfectly as a one-time legend. Some characters fade away quietly. She screamed her way into eternal fame. Grandma Squarepants, too wholesome for the modern era. Grandma Squarepants, first seen in Grandma's Kisses, represented early SpongeBob's softer side. Her episodes were slower, sweeter, grounded in emotional beats and family themes. But as the show evolved into a faster, louder, more joke-driven cartoon, there was less room for quiet character moments. Her last major speaking role before retirement was in Pet Sitter Pat, Season 8. After that, she only had small cameos and flashbacks, until a surprising brief return in Season 14's Don't Make Me Laugh. But for nearly a decade, she disappeared. Not because she wasn't loved, but because SpongeBob stopped telling the kinds of stories she belonged in. The world kept spinning, and Grandma Squarepants stayed in place, no longer fitting the rapid-fire comedic rhythm of the modern show. Patchy and Patty the Pirate, victims of a changing production style. There was a time when Patchy the Pirate was essential to SpongeBob. Played by Tom Kenny himself, Patchy starred in nearly every major special, from the Christmas special to Truth or Square to Atlantis, Squarepantis. His partner, Potty the Parrot, was equally iconic. They lived in the real world. They talked directly to viewers. They made SpongeBob feel larger than life. But over the years, filming live-action scenes became more complicated, and the show's pacing shifted toward faster, more animated storytelling. Specials became less reliant on patchy segments. His screen time shrank. Then, after the massive 20th anniversary event, SpongeBob's big birthday blowout, Patchy and Potty essentially disappeared. Not officially retired, not written out, just gone. Today, younger fans barely know who they are. Older fans remember them as the bridge between viewer and cartoon, a role the modern show no longer needs. The French narrator, the quiet heart of SpongeBob. The French narrator, voiced by Tom Kenny, was inspired by Jacques Cousteau and gave SpongeBob its playful nature documentary feel. His narration set scenes, moved time forward, and added whimsical charm. But in later seasons, narration was used less frequently. Episodes became quicker, punchier, and more visual, leaving little room for the slow, comedic pauses the narrator specialized in. His last major appearance was in the 2023 special, The Tidal Zone. Since then, he's been silent, and while fans still instantly recognize his voice, his absence leaves a subtle emptiness, as if the ocean explorer who guided us through Bikini Bottom simply swam away. King Neptune, a god without a purpose. Finally, we reach one of SpongeBob's most misunderstood disappearances, King Neptune. He first appeared in Neptune's spatula, angry, magical, and prideful. Later, he returned in the first SpongeBob movie, but with a completely different design, voice, and personality. The inconsistencies caused confusion. Was this a new Neptune? A redesign? A reboot? Even the creators eventually stated that the movie version was a reimagining, not necessarily the same Neptune from the show. But the real issue wasn't confusion, it was scale. Neptune was simply too powerful and too grand for the smaller, slice-of-life stories SpongeBob shifted toward. You can't have a god wandering into everyday Bikini Bottom hijinks without constantly rewriting the stakes. And so, over time, Neptune became nothing more than a background cameo. A statue here, a painting there. A fallen god in a world that no longer needed gods. Now that we've explored each disappearance individually, it's time to reveal the bigger truth. Because when you line up every vanished character, from heroes to villains to narrators to one-episode wonders, one undeniable pattern emerges. Characters disappear for three main reasons. 1. Real-world loss changes. Fictional worlds. Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy will never return because the voices that define them are gone. The show chose respect over recasting, giving their legacy a dignified ending. But this created ripple effects, removing Man Ray, the superhero arcs, and the entire comedic universe tied to them. 2. The tone of SpongeBob evolved characters like Grandma Squarepants, Patchy and Potty, and the French narrator came from an era when SpongeBob embraced slower pacing live-action segments, documentary humor, wholesome emotional themes, but modern SpongeBob is much faster and more chaotic. This change left many characters stranded in the past. 3. Some characters were designed to exist only once flats. The Chocolate Lady, even some interpretations of King Neptune. Their stories were perfect in isolation. Bringing them back would weaken the joke or confuse the audience. So the writers preserved them in amber, allowing them to exist forever in the form fans loved most. Even though they've vanished from new episodes, these characters continue to shape the show. Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy still appear in posters and toys. Man Ray lives on in meme culture and nostalgic rewatches. Flats and the Chocolate Lady remain iconic internet staples. Patchy the Pirate represents the weird, experimental heart of early SpongeBob. The French narrator's voice is instantly recognizable, even to new generations. King Neptune still appears as symbols of Bikini Bottom's mythology. Their legacy remains, even if their roles do not. Which one do you miss the most? Is it the heroes, the villains, the narrators, or the one-episode legends who stole the show? Drop a comment below. I read every single one. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe for more cartoon mysteries, hidden lore, and character breakdowns. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.